Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. So while we wait for everyone, I just want to briefly introduce myself. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Brandy, and I am the support team lead here at Details. I also have my coworker Angel here. She's going to be manning the chat. So as we're going through, if anybody has any questions, just feel free to put those into the chat. We are going to have kind of an open Q&A at the end. So if anybody wants to speak and have questions, we can certainly do that at the end. But I ask that as we're going through, if you would please put those questions into the chat there. And then if we have time while we're going through, we can address them then. If not, we'll go ahead and address them at the end. So we're just going to wait a couple minutes here and just see who else joins. I hope that everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday today. And today we are going to be going over collections. So that's going to be collections in the item gallery, which you may be familiar with. And then we also have color collections, which is a relatively newer feature. So you may or may not be familiar with that as well. And we're just going to go through how to create these collections and what they're going to be utilized for. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started and share my screen here, and then anybody that comes in, we can just welcome them as they come. All right, beautiful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So the first place that we're going to go is going to be the item gallery collections. We're going to look at this in two different views. The first view is going to be just from that main menu. We're not going to be inside of an event. We're going to go to the resources here and then item gallery. So as this is loading, collections are going to be basically like folders of items. So you can make as many of these folders as you would like, and you can basically customize them exactly as you would like them. So once they come up here, you'll see that we've got all of our collections with tiles on them. So some of these collections are going to be our partner collections. So you'll see those here: Accent Decor, Ball, Alexandra Farms, Alaska Peony, Jet Fresh, Smithers, House of Stems, Syndicate, and then Floral Mechanics. So their products are all included in these different collections for you, and they're available in every account within Details. Additionally, you also start off with two main collections here, which are going to be your all items, which is going to include anything that came preloaded in the software, including partner items. And then it's also going to be anything that you have uploaded it. In the My Items, this is going to be anything that you have edited or added yourself. So if you went in and adjusted a partner item, maybe you added inventory to a vase or something like that, that would then transfer over into your My Items. Same thing with the items that you yourself put in. So those items are also going to show up here in the My Items. So additionally, though, we have created some other collections. You may recognize the color collections here. Those are turned on globally for everybody to access. And then we also have our holiday collections, which is going to be something that we add to periodically. Right now, we started off with, I want to say, 6 different sub-collections within our holiday collections there, and we're going to add on to that as we go throughout the year. All of these collections can certainly be edited, and then you can also make collections of your own. So we've got some additional ones down here, such as themed collections, if you want to do something like a boho collection or a nautical collection and have all those items within that sub collection. So let's go ahead and use the color collections for our example here. So this is going to be our main collection, but within that collection, you can also make sub collections. So in the case of like the color collections, we're going to have individually a white collection, a coral, a nude collection. So you can make as many sub collections as you want, but also your sub collections can have sub collections. So they're kind of infinite, if you will, and you can make as many of these as you'd like. So maybe within your white collection, you might also want to break that down into like actually white, and then maybe you have an ivory collection or an off-white collection or something to that effect. So within each one of the sub collections, we have items obviously pertaining in this case to that specific color scheme. So again, you can have as many of these items as you'd like in here. And we recommend that you have, a myriad of like blooms and greenery, but also include things like your vases and rentals. If you have linens or anything like that that you'd want to put in here that would pertain to this particular style, to go ahead and add that into this collection. So as we're going through here, again, this is something that is going to be available in your account. So you'll see this in your item gallery. You'll also notice that there are some items in here that might be like white with a little bit of pink or, things like that. So if you don't want any of those, you can certainly delete them out of this collection as well. But additionally, you can also add things in here. So you can choose to add an item that's not already existing in the software by clicking on the Add New button at the top, and then you're going to add this new item. And you would follow the steps of adding in that additional item just as you would any other item. And then it will then live here in this collection. Just like I was saying before, with sub collections can also have sub collections. You can do that here as well. So again, you'll go to the Add New. You'll go to New Collection here, and then you'll start to make your sub collection here. So maybe I wanted to do, like I said, that ivory. You can add a nice background. So if you want to go onto Canva, or maybe you grab something off of Pinterest or something to that effect, you can add that in here as an image background, or you can also choose a color background. When you choose a color background, you're going to click on the select color, and then it's going to bring up that same color palette that we're used to seeing in our worksheet. So you can go in here and select a different color here, and then you're just click done, and then it will come up here into your collection. Same process with the image. You're just going to click on select image, and then you can select an image either from your computer, or obviously you can also use an image URL. So if you guys are familiar with those processes in other areas of the site, it's going to be the same thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that collection, and then you're going to have this little sub collection within. So from there, maybe you want to go through what's already existing here in the white collection and choose the items that are going to be more to an ivory fashion and add them into this collection. So when we talk about moving items from one collection to another, the best example is going to be for me to create a new collection here in the gallery home. And we're going to use what's called selection mode to add those items in. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new collection called rentals. So I'm going to do that by clicking the Add New button, New Collection. Same process as the sub collection here. I'm going to do rentals. Again, I can select either a color background or an image background. Some of you may be asking, what would be the purpose of me spending the time to put that image background on there? Obviously it's visually pleasing for you guys while you're making things, but additionally, you can have, a consultation with your client, and you can come in here and have this be, really branded to your company, and go in with them and select, okay, well, your color scheme is going to be red and white. Let's go ahead into our color collections. We're going to pick out those red and white items together. So I would recommend that if you're going to be doing that, and having those virtual consultations, or even if you're sitting there with your client in studio doing the consultation, selecting items together, to go ahead and spend the extra time to create a nice image background there. All right, so we've got our collection here, and that collection is going to be rentals. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in my accent decor collection here, and I'm going to select some of the items there to move over. So I think everybody is mostly familiar with favoriting items onto the design board. This is going to be a somewhat similar process, but with our clipboard. So in order to use selection mode here to grab the items that I would like, I'm going to go to the options menu at the bottom. I'm going to go to selection mode, and then I can individually click on items if I want to. I can also drag and just select all the items within my path. Or in the case that this is a collection that I want to move everything out of, I can also go to the more button at the bottom and select all of the items that are in here. We're not going to do that in this example, but the option is there. So if you want to use that, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue to grab a couple of items here. And then what I'm going to do next is at the bottom, we have a copy button, and that's going to allow me to copy it onto my clipboard. So you'll see my items are over here now on my left-hand side. Additionally, you're going to have this little yellow box that lets you know how many items are copied to your clipboard. And if at any point you need to go back to your clipboard and maybe it's not showing on the panel over here, you can click on the Show Clipboard button, and that's going to automatically bring this clipboard up. Additionally, you also saw a Cut button right next to the Copy button. So in the case that I want to remove these items completely from the Accent Decor item, or excuse me, the Accent Decor collection, and only have them in my rentals collection, then I would cut them out of the Accent Decor collection to paste back into my new collection. The Copy button, though, is going to allow you to have those items both in the Accent Decor collection as well as the new collection that I'm moving them into. So that's what I want to do in this case. So I went ahead and copied them onto my clipboard. Then I'm going to go back to my rentals. So there are a couple of different ways that you can go back. You can click on Gallery Home, and that's going to take you there. Or you can click on the little book that's up here at the top, and that's going to show you all of your different collections that you have right now. So I'm going to go into my rentals collection. And then at the bottom, I'm going to see this paste button, and I'm just going to paste them right in. So now I have all of those items here into this collection. And like I said, I copied them, so they're going to be in this collection as well as the collection that I took them from. While you're doing this process, though, I do recommend that in between moving items from one collection to another, you go ahead and clear your clipboard. So I'm going to go to Menu and then Clear Clipboard. Next, I can go ahead and go back to my Gallery Home and grab some more items. So this is going to be the process that you're going to take to move items from one collection to another. Additionally, if you want to move things into multiple collections, so let's just say I'm going to go into my all items here, and I'm going to grab some items that I want to put in multiple collections. So for example, I'm going to go to Options, Selection Mode. Same thing, I'm just going to grab these items here, and I'm going to copy them. So now I can go back to my rentals. And I can paste them in here. But instead of clearing them off my clipboard, I can then go into another collection and paste them in there. So for example, maybe I'm going into the holiday collection, and within the holiday collections, I have a St. Patrick's Day collection. Again, this whole section with all of our holiday collections is going to be in your account, so they'll be there for you guys to utilize. And then I have an Over the Rainbow collection, or sub collection, if you will. And then I can go ahead and paste them in here as well. So if you wanted to do them into multiple collections, you'll want to make sure to just keep them on your clipboard and then move them accordingly. All right, so before we move off of our main item gallery and go into the item gallery within an event, one more thing that I wanted to let you know is that, in the spirit of being aesthetically pleasing and, making everything branded to your company and everything like that. So like I said, I would recommend that you go in here and adjust any of the collection tiles that you'd like. But additionally, you can also rearrange the tiles. So if you have a specific order that you'd like them to be in, you'll click on this little arrows facing all ways, and you will drag to reorder them. This is an option that's only available if you're in the main item gallery. It's not available if you're inside of an event, inside of the item gallery. So just some things to note there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my event list here, and I'm going to go into the item gallery within an event. So the point of these collections is obviously to keep you guys more organized and be able to find things a little bit easier. So, you know, if I'm looking for red items, I'm going to go into that red collection. It's going to save me a lot of time. But additionally, we want you to be able to utilize these collections in your events. So, for example, if I go into my item gallery here for this particular event, I'm going to see all of the same collections that I would if I was in my normal item gallery collection. But for example, if I wanted to go into my color collection and maybe I'm doing an all yellow wedding, let's just say. So I'm going to go into this yellow collection here. And now I have the option of, you know, I can grab a couple items if I want to. But going back to, I can select all as well. So if I want to grab all of the yellow items, you know, maybe I'm not going to use every single one of these items, but it's nice to have them right there on your design board. So when you're designing, you can go ahead and drag and drop them right in without saying, oh, you know, I forgot that sunflower, or I forgot, you know, that yellow rose that I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and select all. And then I can copy that over to my clipboard, or I can go to more and click add to favorites. So when I click the add to favorites, it's going to add every single one of those items over onto my design board at once without me having to individually star each item. This is another great fast way to add items if you are maybe you're not looking at a particular color scheme, maybe you just want to grab a couple of items. You can use that selection mode option there to grab several items at a time and copy them right onto your clipboard, or excuse me, favorite them onto your design board. I can then go in and utilize these items in an arrangement there on my worksheet. So that's going to save me from possibly going back and forth between my worksheet and my resources here. And if I know that their color scheme is going to be that yellow and white, or, you know, blush and sage, I can go in and grab those certain colors and all of the items within those collections. Additionally, let's say the opposite way around. Maybe you've created a beautiful event, you've got all of your arrangements in there, you've favorited all of your items onto your design board, and now you want to make a collection for your past weddings. So kind of in a similar fashion where you would want to save a template of your event, and you can reuse that template and maybe make a few adjustments here and there. You can also make a collection of all of the items within that, the items within that event as well. So going into my past events here, we've got all of my different past weddings here. So the ones here at the top are photos from the actual events. So I would recommend that, you know, after you do the event, get with the photographer and get a photo of those arrangements, and then you can have those as a nice clear picture, so that, again, if you're coming in here with your client to select items for an event, you can say, oh, well, this was Avery and Jeff's wedding, or this is Jen's wedding, and they can kind of get a look into what their event is going to look like based on what they've told you. So if I wanted to take all of the items from this event and create a new collection here, I'm going to do that same process of add new collection. And maybe this is going to be Alyssa's wedding. And again, I can add a color or a background image here. I'm going to add that collection. And then getting some new people coming in. And then I can go ahead and go into Alyssa's wedding here. And then I can take all of my items here and add here. Well, there we go. Wonderful. So depending on the number of items in here that you have, might take a moment to put all those items in there. Excuse me. I think I clicked it 3 times, so it's probably not going to do it now. But then you'll add those items over here into your collection and be able to have those there for the next time that a bride comes in and says, hey, I want this same color scheme that you had for Alyssa's wedding. And I can go in there and grab all those items in here. So another great way to, again, just stay organized. And for those events that, did really well and it's a popular color scheme, things that you're seeing all the time, you can go in here and say, hey, well, I did a wedding that was exactly the same color scheme, same style. And you can come right in here and say, these are the options that I had for this person, and add those items onto your design board for this new client. So before we move off of item gallery collections, I wanted to go ahead and just see if anybody had any questions about item gallery collections. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and head over to.
Question.
Go ahead.
So is there a way, obviously, like there's a lot of product that's already pre-uploaded onto these galleries that like we as a business would never use.
Okay.
And I know that like some of the items that are like, number one, my question is, does like Accent Decor, is there like new catalog uploaded onto here?
At this time, we don't have their new catalog on there. We have requested their new catalog, but we are waiting to hear back from them.
Okay. So is there a way, because you were talking about like cutting, is there a way that we could like mass delete items out that we don't use all the time?
Yeah, so what I would suggest, there's not a way to, let's say, mass delete, if you will. But if I were going to go in there and delete a mass quantity of items, what I would do is I would go to the table view here, and you'll see this in every one of the collections, and you can go down and just click delete like that. That way, because if you do it from the image section, it's going to ask you every time, are you sure you want to delete this? But here it doesn't.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that was a problem that I was running into it because I was trying to clear out, like, because we don't use, like the colored blue, purple vases for our shop. And so it's just not, and it kind of gets in the way when I'm scrolling sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And, if you wanted to do this, I don't know, somewhat more strategically and do a search in the all items for like search for all vases and rentals that are this color, you could do that and then just delete them all. So just some suggestions there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into color collections next. So I'm going to do this on my worksheet here for this event. So color collections are a fairly new option. So like I said, some of you may have been in here to play around with them and some of you may have not. But it's gonna kind of on the same premise of templates and creating those collections of past weddings and doing proposal templates that you can create now, and just reusing those same products and same arrangements and things, and maybe making some adjustments, switching out a picture, things like that. This is going to allow you to do the same thing with popular color schemes. So I'm going to click on the plus symbol. So within your color selector, you have a variety of different options on finding colors, and then you have what's called collections. So these are some of the collections that I have created. So I've got things like a fall collection or a pastel collection, rainbow. Maybe you want to do some smaller items like sage and white, or uh, anything that you can kind of think of. So to create a collection, it's going to be kind of the same idea as if you're going in here to create your color palette for the event. So for example, let's say I'm going to do kind of a blue collection. I'm going to go ahead and click the add to collection button here. So I can add it to any existing collection that I have, but I can also create a new collection. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a collection called unnamed collection. So from there, just like anything on the worksheet, you can click into edit. And then that's going to create me that blue collection. From there, I can go in and maybe I want to go to the suggestions, and I've got different tints. And this is pretty much what I was looking for when I wanted to create a blue collection, is just all the different shades. So I can go in here to the drop-down menu, and then I can create a new collection from this particular tint here. I can also individually select these colors here and add to collection. And then I can go down to my blue collection there. And then that's just going to build out my blue collection as I'm going along. So same premise as if I'm going to be creating that color palette for the event itself. So nothing really new in functionality there. And then the best thing about these different collections is that when you have them made, you can then come in here and click the drop down menu and select all for your event. So, when that bride comes in there with that Pinterest color scheme swatch that 10 other brides have come in with, because it's the popular thing right now, you can come in here and create that color collection, and then for the next 10 brides that want it, you'll just come in here and select all, and then that's going to add it to your selection. So once you have those items in here, let me just delete the ones that I already had in here. Then it's going to show up into your selection, and then you'll be able to click done, and then it will automatically populate there for this particular event. So collections are going to be really a time-saving feature. Same thing with the item gallery collections. They're here to save time and keep you organized, especially for the popular color schemes and different items that become popular over time. And you'll be able to come in here and load those right in. So it's going to save you the time that it takes you to create that color palette that you just created, last week for Susie Q. Or same thing with the different items and color schemes that you have there. It's also going to save you time from going in and selecting those items each time when you know that these are all the yellow items that you have. So if their theme is yellow and blue, we're just going to go grab all the yellow items and all the blue items, and then we can create our arrangements right here onto the worksheet. So that is all I have today for collections, but if anybody has any questions on either item gallery collections or color collections, I would love to answer them for
I have a question.
Lovely.
So actually I was literally just doing this and thinking about it. So I uploaded an image into the color selector, and I wanted to use like how it has like the 6 colors to the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Wanted to use all of those colors. Is there a way to just automatically add all of those to the collection to create a collection from that photo?
Not at this time, but I think that would be a really great idea.
Because I mean, that color palette was, she sent me that picture. That was the color palette that she wanted, and I wanted to use, and I had to go in and click add selection, add select, but I wanted to use all of those colors. So I didn't know if there would ever be, like a button where you could just add all of the colors that because that's a great tool that the software pulls all those colors together.
Yeah.
With that button to add all of them together. My other question is, when it comes to white, this is just a side, this is really not a collection question, but when it comes to like the color white, when you're putting that into, will there ever be some sort of like shaded box or something around that? Because I feel like when I put that on a proposal, it just looks like it's like an empty square.
Yeah, I have a ticket in there for it, so it's something that we plan on doing in the future, but we haven't done it yet. But I'll definitely add your name on there, and then that way, when it becomes available, then we'll be able to reach out and let you know.
Yeah, thank you. I just started using the software for a shop here in Massachusetts. I was working at a shop in Texas, and so and it's just made, you know, creating things just so much easier for these brides. So the more features, the merrier.
Lovely. Yes, that's what we like to hear. All right, so Casey here. So is there a way to create collections like this in the inspiration gallery and recipe gallery, or just in the item gallery? So Casey, right now it's just going to be the item gallery. But let me preface that I don't have any specific date, time, or completion information. But this year we are planning to tackle adding collections to both the inspiration and the recipe gallery. Again, we have no set time or anything like that, but it's something that we plan on implementing in the hopefully near future.
Can that not be accomplished by like creating a template, or is that do the recipes and the pictures not transfer over when you upload a new template?
So
like from the worksheet, it was just a thought. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Okay, so you mean when they are uploaded into the worksheet, does it create a collection for them?
Yeah, so like when you save and it asks you if you'd like to create a new template, if you were to go and upload that into a new worksheet, would your recipes and everything still be there?
Oh yeah.
So is that a way that you could create a collection?
If you wanted to do it that way, where you're doing it as a collection of, let's say, a specific event styles recipes, then yes. So
Okay.
like if we're talking about kind of in the same premise of the item gallery collection for past events, and you wanted to save all the recipes for that event, you could do that. I also would like to mention that the recipe gallery has the ability to create custom categories now. So if you wanted to do custom categories for recipes, then you could do that. And then you can search by categories. So if you wanted to make one that was, let's say, green and white wedding, or Anna's wedding that happened, last September, you could make that into a category. And then when you come onto the recipe gallery, on the search panel, you can search by category, and it's going to bring up all of those recipes that are associated with that. So on the search panel here, this search by category, you can create your own categories here when you are creating a recipe. So when you go add a new recipe, there's just like an empty box here. So if you wanted to make quote unquote collections in the form of category groups, and then you can dwindle down your search by category based on what you would intentionally like to have as a collection. I also highly recommend doing that, because when we do implement collections, it's not going to put everything into collections itself. So I think that having them as a search by category, and then you'll be able to kind of copy and paste them into a collection, will save you a lot of time when that comes to fruition. Any other questions from anybody? Are you able to make the search engine for images more user-friendly? How so? Are you talking about in the inspiration gallery? Okay, so right now, again, we are going to do like collections in the inspiration gallery, because there's nothing associated with with the images in the inspiration gallery at this time. There is not a search panel. I imagine that we may do like tags on images for the inspiration gallery, since again, we're gonna need to have you guys put those into collections once they actually become available. But at this time, there is not. So something that we are planning on implementing in the future, but it's not there yet.
I noticed also that I wasn't able to, like, if I if I upload all my wedding, like previous wedding photos into Google Photos,
Yeah.
and you have the option to use a URL
Yeah.
to like copy and paste, but it wasn't allowing me to pull from Google Photos. Was that an error on my part, or is that just not a capability of the software?
So was it the image link or was it the link to the folder that had the images in it?
Yeah, so it was the actual image link that from Google Photos. Like Google Photos created an image link, and I tried to copy and paste that into the URL, and it wasn't working.
It should work. If you want to send it to me, if you'll send me the image and then also the link, and then I'll look at it.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if that was an error on my part.
Yeah, no, as long as it's the link to the image itself, it should work.
Okay, perfect. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Karen says that she wanted to introduce herself as one of the very few UK users. It's 6:30 p.m. here. I am loving every element of details and have used it for the past 12 months. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Karen. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody that's joined us today. We hope that you learned something and that, it's kind of open your eyes on the things that you can create here in details, and that the options are mostly endless in the collections, where you can create as many collections for whatever type of collection that you'd like. And then also with those color collections, we're just trying to implement some more time-saving features there. So that was where the color collections came into play. And we hope that it has helped everyone. And we thank you all for joining us today and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
I actually have one more question. You said that you guys were going to be doing recipe collections soon. Will there be an option in the worksheet when you go to save the image, like the recipe to the gallery, the recipe gallery, that you could add it to a collection at the same time?
So we haven't even started outlining what it's going to look like and what it's going to include. I think that is something that we have discussed previously. Also, kind of the same thing with on that add ingredient modal, having collections there as well that you can pull from, because right now it's just like the search engine basically. So something that we definitely will be discussing as far as adding that on there. But as of right now, since we don't have anything outlined, I can't say one way or the other.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And Karen, tell Tim that he should come use details too. All right. Thank you guys. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.